You like that, dude?
What is happening, everybody? Welcome in to the show. We are getting started a little late, but better late than never. This is the first ever tour life with my boy Paul Uli. We're here. We made it. The Uli crackle. People are already talking about in the chat.
No.
There is chatter. I might have started it already. It might have been my someone's claiming the Yuli crackle numbers are 6500 and 0. I didn't even know that was possible, but it is what it is. Yeah, Yuli apparently had someone just completely reset some of his settings. So we have to do with that.
Yeah, we had an interview here, and they took everything off my desk. They unplugged everything, dude. I had the camera in it was looking good, and then I know nothing about technology, man. It's like it's a fight. It's a fight to the death with me and technology, and I lose every time.
Well, I remember back when I was streaming a lot, it felt like once every week or 2 weeks, I would sit down and literally all I'm doing is like turning on my computer, turning off my computer. I'm not changing anything, but once every 2 weeks, I would sit down and then like my audio just wouldn't work or like my sound wouldn't work. And I'm like, I'm literally just streamed 7 days in a row. Everything was fine. What is going on? Like, why is the 8th day messed up? It's a debacle. You know, it is a situation, but we're here. And all right, so let's explain kind of what's going on, because some people are like, what happened to the disc golf hour? What's going on? So a little behind the curtain, if you will, for everyone. Debate night was originally me and Hunter. That show during the season, I feel like was really, really good because it was giving my take on what was going on during the tour, during my season, and then it would kind of give a little bit of a taste of what Hunter was seeing. The issue, though, that we ran into a lot of times is like Hunter and Trevor on Grip Locked, they would talk about a lot of the same things. And so Hunter was having to either repeat himself or people were kind of hearing the same conversations over again. So we decided, okay, what can we do differently? Trevor had the idea of doing like the around the horn version of disc golf, and that became debate night. And I said, all right, well, I'll just do my own show because, quite frankly, limiting myself to 15 minutes of disc golf talk, because debate night's very quick. If you haven't watched yet, it's very snappy. It's very quick. Only being able to talk for a minute on certain topics was not going to fly for me. So I was like, I'm just going to do my own show. I'll talk as long as I want, and we'll open it up to callers. And you called it in a couple times, and we kind of got riffing and going. And basically, I just reached out to you, and we kind of had an open conversation of like, hey, what's the deal? Do you want to pursue something more than just calling in occasionally? And yeah, if you want to give your kind of take on what's going on, you can let the people know.
No, yeah, exactly what you said. And is there crackle, first of all?
Oh, the people love the crackle.
Do I have crackle?
Yeah, you have the crackle.
No.
Yeah, the crackle is there.
Should I unplug this bad boy?
You might have to go. You might have to just go computer audio for this one. We're going bare bones for this first one. So bare.
Look at this setup though. Look at there's no more.
No, there's still crackle.
No, wait. Bare bones, no crackle, not as good, but
there we go.
Yeah, but this is what we're gonna have to do tonight. Anyways, yeah, he messaged me. Listen, one of my favorite things is to talk. People know that about me. I love to talk. I love to debate. I love disc golf. I love sports in general. I like bouncing ideas off of everybody and anybody. And yeah, when Brodie and I started talking, it was like I felt like it went really well the couple times that I called in, of course, and people liked it, and that's what it's all about. If people can enjoy two people riffing off of each other and understanding conversation, intelligent conversations about things, and one of my favorite things is you and I, we don't have the same opinion in a lot of things, and we do have the same opinion in some things, but we're the type of people where that's fine. And we can get past it, go to the next conversation. That's something that I've been really looking forward or for in disc golf is, you know, I don't know if you've had this idea, but having a podcast with somebody where we can have those types of debates, but also bring the news of what's going on in the week, bring in whatever we're doing on tour, and then being able to explain the world what it's really like. I mean, it's definitely, man, I'm excited. I guess basically what it is I'm excited to be able to do this because I enjoy our talks. I always have. You and I have had deep discussions, you know, off camera, on camera, and it's been great. I've really enjoyed it. So I'm excited to see where this goes for sure.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of potential, not just with me and you talking about what's going on with our season and what's going on elsewhere on tour, but I think there's also a lot of potential of having deep conversations with other professionals and other people. Now, obviously, there's tons of podcasts right now that are interview podcasts, and that's not what this is going to be. This is the majority of the time you're going to get me and Yuli. We're going to be doing these on Tuesday nights, I believe, during the season. So you guys will be able to tune in live right here on YouTube, or you can catch it on Apple, Spotify, all those things after the fact if you like listening to the audio version. We might, though, have, you know, a handful of kind of like special episodes where we bring in a guest or whatnot and have a sit down talk and have more of a, I don't know. I feel like when me and you are talking to someone, I think we'll be able to bring out a lot, you know, because one, I'm not afraid to ask any question. And I think two, you are one of the probably more respected people on tour. And I also think you have some of the best experience on tour. So I think this has a lot of potential. And it's also something, too, where we don't really know where this is going. I think it's just two people that are committed to this show for you guys listening. And we're going to do our best every week to bring the best show possible. And then we'll just kind of see where it goes from there. So without saying any more, thank you so much, everyone that's tuning in live. We appreciate it, and thanks to everyone that's listening. If you haven't yet, make sure you go over to Apple and Spotify and, you know, like or save or do whatever you have to do to make sure that RSS feed is in your normal podcast. Like I said, this should be coming out Tuesday nights moving forward. I'm going to try to get the audio up later tonight for everyone. But I want to jump in.
I have like 2 messages already saying it should be called the Crackle. So that's
the Crackle. See, here's the thing with these podcasts is like the OGs, the people that are with us right now, that will be an inside joke that they will only know. So later on, if we bring up the Crackle, people are going to be like, what the heck are they talking about? And everyone listening right now, you guys were there for the Crackle, the very first podcast episode from the tour life. But with that being said, we've got Vegas very close. So I'm interested. I want to hear how's your off season going? Give everyone kind of an idea of like what you were up to this off season. How does the game feel? How does the body feel? I know last season you did have a lot of injuries and things that like kind of held you back. How's everything feeling for you going into 2023?
It's funny, you know, Brodie, because one of the things that I've been realizing about myself and just how life changes as you get older and how the sport is progressing, it's way different. My off seasons are so much different. Before it was all practice, you know, get healthy, get practicing, get putting in, go to the field, like make sure that I had my best game going into Vegas every single year, or Memorial when Memorial started the season. And it seems like the last couple of years, last year, obviously I was injured, so I didn't get to play as much, but this offseason was way different. As the sport moves forward, I find myself behind a camera almost every time that I play, which I don't know if that's like what happens with you, but a lot of the time, like it's really hard for me to be able to go to the course and be like, hey, I'm just doing field work today. Like I tell myself, okay, maybe I need to put a YouTube video out or I already have prior engagements. Like, you know, we went to Jacksonville. I flew from Jacksonville to Austin, and then I came back and I had filming with Zuka and then a piece that Discraft did with me. So this whole off season has been not necessarily practice, and which is interesting because this is a perfect place to let the people know, like, disc golf is changing. And as a professional, you really got to get your priorities straight of when is it time to put time in on the course, on the putting green, and when is it time for brand building and doing what you're supposed to do with your sponsors. And so this was the first off season where I found myself practicing, but it was practicing in front of a camera and not me just going out and being like, okay, I'm grinding this out. Because as you know, of course, too, you have a wife, I have a fiance, time has to go to that. I have a house, time has to go to that. I have different priorities that offset a lot of the practice time that I would have before. And so I'm curious to see if is your off season similar, or are you like, no, it's time for Brodie Smith to get to the field, get my time in, because I'm having a hard time kind of being able to separate the two.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're definitely right. I think at our age and where we are in our life, it's a lot different than some of the younger guys on tour. When you don't have those commitments and you don't have those responsibilities, I could totally see myself coming out of college and jumping in a van, touring around, and just playing disc golf 24/7 and not caring about anything else.
On this bad boy.
Oh yeah, no. Take the wrapper off of that. We don't have any advertisements yet. We are open for business though, folks. So yeah, when you're at kind of our age, there are so many other things going on that I can't simply just say, hey, deuces, I'm out for 12 hours today. I'll see you when I see you. Nor do I want to do that at my life. I also don't even think that would be really that effective for me anymore. So this offseason was very interesting for me because I kind of got an eye-opening leaving, I want to say right around Vegas. So I go back out to Vegas at the very end of the season to play this really fun Halloween tournament. And after that tournament, I hadn't weighed myself in forever. And obviously you kind of get, the sense of like looking at yourself being like, I look a little bit different than I used to. But when you are constantly seeing yourself in the mirror or whatever every day, it's easier for you to kind of go down that path of being really out of shape without realizing it. So it wasn't until I like stepped on the scale and saw myself at like 260 that I was like, what? And this is the thing is like, I guess I am blessed in that way of where I hold my weight really well. So no one thought I was like super overweight or fat, but I'm telling you I was. 260 is massively heavy, especially for someone that stopped working out halfway through the season because their back was starting to get jacked up. So this offseason has been really interesting because I really did not throw the disc at all. Yeah. Like very few times that I actually throw. I did putt quite a bit, but I did not throw. Mainly one that was to kind of give a break to my back, but most importantly, that was to get back into shape. And so I've been spending most of my time, I'm running 5 times a week. I'm lifting weights 4 times a week. And then my diet of what I'm eating and what I'm putting in and consuming and all that stuff has completely changed. So my lifestyle has completely changed from at the end of tour to now. And I do feel like I'm in a much better spot. And again, obviously, I hope that does end up helping me down the road in disc golf. But ultimately, this was a decision that needed to be made for my life, like my health, right? Because being that size, eating whatever I wanted, that's not going to head me into a direction I wanted to go. So it'll be interesting because I am feeling good in the sense of like my body feels great. I still have a lot of work to do. I still want to get to a different spot than I am now, but I'm not coming into Vegas this year being like, I've been playing 3 times, I've got 54 holes every day for the last 3 weeks. And like, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel sharp with my game. So would I be surprised if I miss cash at Vegas? No. Would I be surprised if I got top 20 at Vegas? No. So it's just kind of one of those where I'm playing the long game here of where I see myself I see myself touring for like at least another 3 years, maybe 5. So I want to be in the best condition I can be for all those years, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because tour is you can run yourself into the ground real easy, right?
It's nuts. Like people think it's just this Holly Joe go lucky Jolly Rancher world, and it isn't. It is tough work, especially like you said for me, for example. Yeah, if I won every other, 1 out of every 5 tournaments, it would be a lot different process. That
Yes.
process to be that guy is completely different than me being 34 years old and having obligations to make sure that my career path is on the trajectory that I need it to be to sustain a career at this point. And so it definitely changes to where I can't be selfish in the fact I would love to just be like, nope, all that stuff goes to the side and I have to grind it out and be the best player that I can be. That means that a lot of people have to go to the wayside, and I'm not willing to do that. So it has to change. With that being said, I am very healthy, the healthiest I've been going into a season in years, which is awesome.
That's great.
And every time that I play, I am playing well. So I'm not just going out and I'm like, oh, Vegas is going to be interesting. I am feeling very confident that I'm going to be my old self and be able to compete at a high level. So that's good.
That's awesome. With that being said, let's talk real quick. The Disc Golf Pro Tour just kind of made the announcement, and they made a couple announcements, but the one that I thought was most interesting was their announcement on post-production coverage, which you are obviously involved with Jomez. So you can kind of maybe give us a little inside scoop of how that's going to work with FPO. The big announcement this year is MPO and FPO, which they're not calling lead card. They're saying one, which is lead card essentially, will both be covered by Jomez this year. So you will be seeing the best MPO players at the tournament, and you'll be seeing the best FPO players at tournaments, both covered by Jomez. Are you guys doing commentary for both of those? Or is there going to be a different commentary team for FPO?
No double duty for us, which is interesting. So it's a great thing that you bring up because I was talking to a few FPO players recently, and they were actually kind of concerned, which was surprising to me, that they were worried about who was going to be doing the commentary for them. And I thought that was interesting because, from outside looking in, Jomez picking up FPO coverage is just huge. It's
massive.
It's massive because of the eyes that are going to go on there. And instead of like this excitement that I thought I was going to hear, it was more of, well, who's going to be doing the commentary for us? So that's something that struck me as not confusing, but me not being in that realm, I don't know what the thought process is with them playing, and that is an important thing. And I just don't think that because obviously I commentate for the men's side, and I'm just curious what your thoughts are on that. I don't know who's going to be doing the commentary.
It hasn't been announced or anything. Okay, nope. Interesting.
But that is interesting because do you think that whoever does the commentary has that like that big of an impact on how that is kind of brought into the living room? And if so, I guess who do you think is the best FPO commentators?
So I think when it is you, Sexton, and Germ, I think as far as when the Jomez crew, I think that's the best crew. And the reason I say that is, maybe you guys talk over each other a little bit, but by having 3 of you guys, I think that gives the most perspective over the tournament at hand. The majority of the time, one of you is in contention or close to contention, so you kind of have that sense of what's going on at the top, and then maybe some of the others are towards the bottom or whatever, but they can kind of give you a full perspective of what's happening at the tournament. I think that's crucial. I think for FPO, I don't think you can just have this would be my point. I think you would have a much harder time doing commentary if you were not at the tournament and you just sat down and they're like, play. And then you just had to start commentating. You're not going to know the weather that well. There might be some holes that are changed. There might be some new lines that have opened up that you aren't aware of. You're just not going to be as informed. So I think whoever they do decide to go with for FPO, I think it needs to be one or two people, however many, but it needs to be someone that actually knows the course, knows what's going on, knows what's happening with the players, and having a little bit more insight, because I think live commentary, you can get away with a little more of just, oh, they're picking up a disc. They threw the disc. Oh, they're making a putt. That was for a birdie. Where what you guys do is more of a conversation of where you're giving kind of snippets and tidbits of like, oh, I bet you guys didn't know this. Let me explain that. I think that's crucial stuff. So having someone that actually could do it, and that's why I was saying, like, I think you guys could do that, but I think that'd probably be too much on your plate. Like playing the tournament, doing MPO, and then having to do all that extra research for FPO, that would be so hard. I just hope they do have someone that is motivated and passionate about it, to where they go out and try to get the stories and know what's going on.
Yeah. And that's what kind of like, really opened my eyes, because I really never thought about it. Like if I get on coverage, which I'm on coverage, luckily quite a bit, first round. First round coverage.
Yeah.
First round coverage.
It's nice getting on the feature card every once in a while.
First round. But no, it never dawned on me, like, who's talking about me? And how do they portray me to the world? And that's important. That is important. It's something that I, never really thought about. Am I doing players justice by commentating on them, and am I bringing them to the best light? It's not something I ever thought about, which I don't want to think about when I do my commentary, because that would change the way that I do it. Yeah. And I like the way that I do it, but as far as what we're talking about in the FPO coverage, that, opened my eyes. I'm like, wow, that is very important. It is important at this stage in disc golf, especially right now with FPO, because this is a big time move. It is. That's a lot more eyes that are going to be on the FPO field, which is awesome. And I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool that they were like, yeah, that's awesome, but who's going to do it for me? Because that's important to them.
Yeah, and I think I've always said this, of where I think the FPO play, the style of play, I think is easier for most fans watching to relate to. It is very hard to watch the top MPO players and be able to say, like, I can do that, or let me go out and try to replicate that shot, where the distance and power a lot of times is more similar on the FPO side. And so if you can have someone that can commentate that and in a way of where they're not downplaying their skills, or like that they can't throw as far as MPO, but rather highlighting the skill set that they have that sets them apart, I think that is crucial. Sure. Now, I will say one thing that, and this might just be, a minority of people that watch coverage, I don't like commentators that are essentially like butt kissing. Is that the terminology?
Sounds
like
good to me.
Yeah, butt kissing everyone, right? And like, we'll never say anything bad. I don't mind someone saying like, that was a poor shot, that was a poor choice, I don't know why they did that, that doesn't make sense. I think it's good to be impartial in that way, of where you're constantly kind of looking at it on both sides of the coin, versus a lot of times I do agree commentators are there to hype it up. There are many times where, I'm not saying this is from Jomez, but a lot of times on live too, where someone will throw a number out and be like, that drive was 560 feet. And we've all played that hole, and we know I'm throwing 500 feet and I'm landing in the same spot. That was not a 560 or a 600-foot drive. So there is a lot of like up playing, and you see that too in other sports as well. There is that hyperbole, I think, if you will, in some cases, But I think a lot of that should come with like the energy in the commentating and not so much the facts. Like I prefer that the facts kind of stay factual. And if you want to build something up to where if someone makes a 30-footer, say it's a 30-footer, but talk about how crucial of a putt that is. Don't say like, oh my God, he just drained that from 50 feet when in fact it was 30. So that's kind of for me, but it'll be interesting to see how they go. Like if there is some sort of like process of them trying people out or having, I don't know. We'll see. Cause they probably also need to have them in house, right? Like they need to have probably people that are going from tour stop to tour stop.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
But that's huge, man. I'm excited to see. When I wake up in the morning, that's the first thing that I put on is the live FPO coverage. I enjoy watching it. Like I literally put it on every morning when I wake up. I watch it until it's time for me to go warm up and do my thing. For Jomez to get involved, man, I'm very excited. A lot of eyes are gonna go on the FPO, and that's gonna open up new opportunities for them, and that's huge.
And I think the big thing we talked about this a little bit with like the course design. I think again, putting pressure on that, especially on the commentary side, is not a bad thing. If a hole is bad, I feel like we are at the stage right now in disc golf where it is okay to talk about some of the troubles that disc golf has. We don't have to try to make it seem like everything's rainbows and butterflies. Yeah. If a hole is terrible, I would love to hear the commentators on FPO being like, I don't understand why this hole is designed the way it is. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if you saw the Las Vegas flyovers of the holes. It seemed like when they were designing the FPO, if you even want to say designing the FPO, it seemed like they just added on strokes and said like, oh, it's not a par 4, it's a par 5 for them. It's not a par 3, it's a par 4 for them. Yeah. To me, I think that's just lazy because the way disc golf is played, landing zones matter, how like where hazards are matter, and just adding an extra stroke because a division doesn't throw us far, it does not mean the hole is going to play well. And most of the time, the hole plays way worse than the hole is designed for the MPO. So yeah, we'll see how it goes in FPO on Vegas. I know there was a lot of complaints last year from the FPO players about course design. I just think that is something that needs to drastically change because that is a huge thing to show off their skill.
Kind of a really tough problem to manage, honestly, for the tour, especially because they're playing the same course, playing the same property. So now you're essentially having to like design two different courses for two completely different skill sets on the same property in the same layout. I mean, that I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah, and my big complaint is essentially just, and we have some holes like this on MPO as well. They're starting to kind of fizzle out, but there are some holes where it's just like everyone's going to be landing in roughly the same spot and everyone will just be pitching up, and it basically just eliminates a good shot and a bad shot. Like if you have a hole that is so easy to get a 3 on, regardless of whether it's a par 3 or a par 4, that's a bad hole, right? If someone can throw a terrible shot and get a 3 and someone can throw a great shot and still get a 3, like that's a bad hole. And I think a lot of times these FPO holes, they create a way of where they make them a par 4 and it's like, okay, I get it. Like the hole itself is too far for it to be a par 3, but by making it a par 4, you're essentially is making everyone lay up and then have all a super easy upshot, and the hole just becomes meaningless. Everyone's just getting the same. There's no scoring separation. So we'll see what happens. I wasn't too thrilled with the changes I saw on the FPO side. Some of the MPO's changes are decent, but we'll see, I guess, in a couple of weeks when you get out there. So I just want to run through this real quick. So Jomez is going to be doing, like I said, I'm just going to call it lead card. They're going to be doing lead card for MPO and FPO. They're going to be also doing Champions Cup, Worlds, and USWDGC, so U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships. And this is going on through the end of 2023. Then you've got Gatekeeper. They're going to be doing the second card on MPO throughout the year. They will be at Champions Cup and they'll be at Worlds, and that's through 2023. Then Ace Run Pro is getting into the action. I know they've covered some tournaments here and there. They're going to be doing the second card on FPO. They will also be at Champions Cup, Worlds, and U.S. Women's as well. So that will be the main cards. And then we have at silver events, I believe, Central Coast will be doing all the silver events lead cards for MPO and FPO as well. And so I think that's great. And again, I'm always live over post, but I understand there is a spot for both. So even though I do advocate live in the sense of like, if I'm going to consume sports, I do prefer to watch it live. Yeah. I do know that there is a large group of people that love consuming post, and also a larger group of people that love going back and watching tournaments. And so this is something that is really cool with disc golf, is you have this Rolodex, if you will, of all these tournaments that you can just go back and watch. 2017, 2018, and now you can watch all these as well. I think having FPO, I'll reiterate, I think having FPO present on Jomez this year is going to be a huge thing, not just for getting more people familiar with some of the FPO players, but also potentially for newer players seeing women out there doing their thing and getting excited and going out and trying it themselves. So we'll see how that all ends up and turns out, but it sounds an exciting announcement. All right, let's go and talk about the All-Star Weekend, which is, I believe, coming up this weekend. Yeah. Not too much talk about it. They did make a post, which I actually want to kind of get your thoughts. It's a weird, disc golf and All-Stars. First off, I just think the timing of it is kind of weird. I'm not a huge fan of like starting off the season with an All-Star event. It's kind of weird to me. Like an All-Star event either needs to happen like in the middle of the season, of where you're like, you kind of have an idea of who the All-Stars are for that season at that point, or you do something at the end of the year. Doing it at the beginning of the year kind of seems like an odd timing. What are your thoughts, like, on the timing of it?
No, I agree. I think doing it mid-season would, in my opinion, would be worse. Because the season isn't done. You have the U.S. Championships, the Pro Tour Championship. That could definitely dictate All-Stars without a doubt. And then I do think that having it right before the season starts is a little bit weird, because the season's about to start. So, but then you have the problem of, okay, we have USDGC. That's in October. Mm-hmm. Right after that,
the end of the season is packed right now.
It's crazy packed. Yeah. I do think maybe something in early December, like at a nice place like Florida or Arizona or something where the weather is good, where people can kind of make a vacation out of it, because that's really what it should be, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Is people who've earned the right to be an all-star, kind of make a family vacation out of it type thing. Like, take your family there. They get to see their kid or their dad or whoever makes it, compete and be awarded for being one of the better players of the season. And I do think that's important in sports. I love all-star events and other things. Mm-hmm. The way that it's competed really doesn't matter, in my opinion. I think it's just it should be more of a reward, and as a peer-to-peer, like, hey, we made it to this point, like, congratulations, like, we're the best of the best of this season. I think that should be the main point of that thing. And then, of course, throw fun games in there or whatever you do so that people can watch, of course. But I'm on board with that. Yeah, I think that right before the season, I mean, I made the All-Star event last year. And so I was there when it was the same time. It was like right before Vegas. And I remember
same exact time.
feeling a little bit rushed. It was a blast, though. I'm telling you, it was one of the funnest events that I've ever played in. And I remember thinking, like, this could be something special. You know, this could be like a career deal where you can say, like, no, I've made like 5 all-star appearances in my life type thing. You know, if you make an like, imagine a kid right now watching just this show and being like, to be an all-star disc golfer, like, that would be nuts. You know, so I think if they do it the right way, advertise it the right way, and then the big thing is, last year, the only reason I made it in is because some of the best players didn't go.
Yeah, so they kind of had to go down the line a little bit.
I was a reserve that got put in, you know, which is fine. I was happy about that. But the players really have to take into this idea and be like, no, this is something that I need to do, and I look forward to it, and I want to be there type thing. So it's up to the players, I think, to make sure that they make that a priority and a goal of their, not just a goal of a season, like a career goal, because there are other people out there who will never be all-stars ever, you know, and to put that, you know, it's just like at the NBA, when you hear anybody talk about all-stars in the NBA or football, the Pro Bowl or anything, they call them Pro Bowlers, or they call them all-star players because they're the best of the best.
Do you think there should be specific, because obviously the way every sport does it's probably a little bit different. Do you think there should be specific players that get invited for specific skill sets? So you might not be an all-star in the sense of like your overall game, but you could go to the all-star event and compete in the distance competition.
Yeah, no, I do. I think that that's what it needs to get to. And I've had some talks with some of the pro tour guys, because I think that's important. If your percentage and you put up a lot of putts and your percentage is in the 90% inside the circle or even outside the circle, whatever that is, and you're known as one of the best putters, and show that off to the world. And like I said, peer to peer, like, I need to be able to look at the way that Ricky Wysocki putts and be like, dude, he's nice. You know, and I want to see that on display in a fun setting. Like, that is a talent that needs to be documented and awarded every year. Accuracy, same thing with accuracy. Like, if you're really good at accuracy, if you don't throw it OB a lot, like, that's something that from peer to peer, we need to start recognizing, because that's only going to make us better, you know? And that's what it is in other sports. I see that. I see stats matter.
I think having, and again, this is something that we don't know how well the all-star event's going to, like, what the future is, right? It could be something that fizzles out and just kind of fades. I think a lot of that has to do with obviously the Disc Golf Pro Tour, but also, like you said, players buying in. If players stop buying in and we're not having the top guys there, people aren't going to care about whether or not they're at the all-star event or tuning in to watch the all-star event. One thing that would, you're talking like the putting thing. One thing that would kind of spark my interest is, we all know on tour, and it sometimes gets talked about, we know who's like really freaking good at specific skill sets in disc golf. They might not be the best top 10 player in the world, but like if I throw like an Andrew Marweed out there might be some people that are like, oh yeah, I've heard that name. But like, have you ever seen that guy putt? Like, when he is on, he might be one of the best putters out there. And so having someone like an Andrew Marweed show up for the putting contest, or someone like, a young Cole Redolin in the distance contest, right? Like, having these specific guys that might not be overall with all their skills at the top to make it on this exclusive list, but maybe have a handful of people that are very good at certain skill sets. I think that would also elevate the event as well. Now, obviously, that's adding more people, more money, bigger budget, all these things. And so clearly they're just trying to,
honestly, some of these
minimize
awards,
that.
Not some, but like Isaac Robinson won Rookie of the Year on the Pro Tour. Dude, that dude's not a rookie. The guy, he's been playing professional for a very long time. It was his rookie year on tour, but he's not a rookie.
Yeah, we have an issue with that. There is some of these awards, there are issues. Like I was also
like
people
Barrage, is that right? Barrage?
Yeah, Burridge, yeah.
Barrage. He is a rookie.
Yeah, he didn't tour last year, and I get if you play local events and stuff, I can kind of understand a little bit, but like to me, we don't have like that same kind of clear path that a lot of other professional sports have, of where it's like high school, college, then you go into the pros. We have a lot of people that they might be playing professional disc golf.
We do. You go from advanced and then you're a rookie after that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there is that too. I mean, there was a lot of talk. Well, not a lot, but I talked a lot about like Simon. Like a lot of people were talking about how he was like the most improved player, and this and that. And like to me, like I don't think he should have won personally. I mean, I think he had an incredible season. Don't get me wrong, but my point is like, I see Simon as someone that has a lot of skill.
Maybe a comeback player or something.
Something of where like, yeah, comeback player makes more sense than most improved, because it's like it wasn't like Simon was terrible.
No, it was
and then got really good.
He had a season like that.
Yeah, to me, most improved is like someone that wasn't sniffing cash and now has popped off and has a couple top 10s, a couple top 20s, maybe a top 5. Like to me, that's someone's like, holy cow, that person improved. Versus we all know like winning at the top, like there was very, there's a lot of times minimal margins in winning and getting second or third or fourth and fifth. And so last year, there wasn't that much difference between Simon winning 4 times and maybe just not winning at all, but getting all top 5s, right? And in that scenario, I don't think anyone would have said anything about him being most improved. So that, to me, like at the top, there's just less, I don't know what the word is, but it's easier to see like a Chandler Kramer or someone like that, of where maybe they toured last year and no one had any idea who they were, and then they just popped off. Or Gavin Babcock, like that's another person who had a couple really good majors, of where maybe people didn't even know who that person was. To me, it's kind of like that, like the 6th man award, of where it's tough to give someone a 6th man award that's getting the minutes like a starter, right? Like that's kind of like the talk on that. So I don't know where I was really going with that, but
I was going, but my direction, why I brought up the Isaac Robinson. Yeah, of course. If it's his first year on tour, then he wins rookie of the year on the pro tour. I get where they're going with it, but he's not a rookie. What I was gonna say is, it would be cool to have a couple good rookies at the All-Star event, like actual rookies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we can show off our young up and coming.
I like that.
I wouldn't say that Isaac Robinson is an up-and-coming talent. I think that he's just a talent. Like, he's one of the best players in the world, period. And he went on tour, and then he proved it this year, but he hadn't been on tour. But if you had ever played with him, you'd be like, no, he's really good.
The events he played last year – the events he played in 2021, because he did play a handful of events. I think you can't play like more than 5 or 6 or something like that to be considered it your rookie season. So I think he ended up playing 3 or 4. I can't remember exactly. But, like, you can tell the dude had talent and wasn't, like, a brand new guy on tour. And we're not trying to downplay anything about him. It's just there is, with some of these awards that we're giving out, there needs to be a little bit more requirements, or, you know what I'm saying? Something along the lines
of rules in place, he deserved Rookie of the Year, 100%.
Yes.
And that's not downplay. Like, he had an incredible season, but he almost, like, a few events away from being considered Player of the Year. Yes. Like, he wins a Pro Tour event, and then he wins the Pro Tour Championships. He wins a couple more, like Simon, and all of a sudden he's in the, like, is he going to win both Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year? But I don't know. I think it's learning. It's a learning curve that we have to get over, and
it'll come with time. I think that's. I mean, again, it's a youth thing. It's like not having, and I think also having it to where it's more difficult.
Juliana Korver won Rookie of the Year, didn't she?
Yeah, they had to change. They changed the rule after she won, because they realized like that was. I don't think they saw that happening.
World champion.
Yeah, I don't. That's where they're like, all right, we gotta make it to where that can't happen. But I have faith that stuff will kind of get leveled out as we go.
Because that means that, guess what? If I don't miss cash at 7 straight tournaments yesterday, I might be the most improved player, bro. I might be getting an award at the end of this season.
You could very well be most improved. All right, let's talk real quick just about the actual All-Stars. Again, this is where I think maybe sometimes the media is missing the mark a little bit. I really haven't heard that much chatter about it. If you asked me who was on the All-Stars, I would have a hard time. If you asked me how they were selected, I would have a hard time telling you. It's just not right now something that is massive. I don't know, massive in the media.
I don't think that it is in any sport.
It was in basketball at one point. It definitely has faded. I think MLB, the All-Star Game, still a big thing. I saw tons of memes making fun of the NHL.
You don't know how it's chosen and what the exact stipulations are and everything.
No, not so much the chosen thing. I think it's more just like the media behind it, right? And again, it's like
they have the home run derby, which is dope though.
The home run derby is always sick. It's always sick. Yeah. I'm just saying I haven't heard that much chatter. I haven't seen many of the people talking about it. I haven't heard much chatter. I could not be looking in the right spots. But with that said, these are the All-Stars for the 2022. See, like, I don't even know. Are these the All-Stars for the 2022 season? I don't even know. I would assume that would make sense.
We're going to say yes.
Okay. So you got Paul and Ricky. Those are the two captains. And then they'll be picking their team, which will be either a team comprised of these players. You got Matty O, Isaac Robinson, Simon Lizotte, Kevin Jones, Joel Freeman, Calvin Heimberg, Kyle Klein, Chris Dickerson, James Conrad, Gannon Burr. To me, that just seems like you just go from like world rankings top to bottom.
Yeah.
Is what I don't, maybe there are some people that should be in there that aren't. None of the people in the All-Star event on that side, on the MPO side, jump out at me of like they don't belong there.
Yeah.
So I think that's a pretty big.
Then again, imagine you take 2 rookies and put it in there. That's a cool little story.
I like that. I like the rookies idea. I like adding in like the 2 best rookies of the season and having them be on one of each team, and then a rookie like taking out one of the veterans or something in a match play event or something. That'd be sick. All right, FPO side. Let's see. I just gotta slide it. Okay, FPO side, we've got and see, this is where it's interesting. This is kind of where you're talking about how like if not everyone shows up, it's kind of weird. Who would you think would be the 2 captains for FPO?
It would have to be Paige and Tatar.
Yeah, neither one are there.
No, I know.
The 2 captains are Katrina and Owen Scoggins. So that's kind of like where you're talking about, like people don't show up. It kind of loses a little bit of a luster. You got 2 of the top, two of the best women in the world, two of the best female disc golfers of all time, and they're not at the All-Star event. So it kind of loses a little luster. But it looks like you got this photo is not done as well as the MPO, so it's a little bit harder to tell who's who. But I believe that's Henna, Ella, Maria, Sarah Holcomb. I think that's what the heck is that? You got Evelina, Valerie, Jen, Missy Gannon. I'm trying to see who this is. Hold on.
Get those glasses, man.
Oh, I think that's Kat Merch. It does not look like her at all. Kat Merch and Holland Hanley. All right. I'm pretty sure that's everyone.
So that's almost everybody. I mean, minus.
Yeah, minus the 2 best players. Yeah. I mean, that's still good. Obviously, it's still a good crew. But missing out those 2, I mean, you're missing out on 2 of the biggest names too, as well.
I can understand Estonia coming here for the All-Star.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
To be bigger. Maybe there needs to be a big payout or something, or a bonus, or they play all these little games and all that stuff. Paige not being there, a little bizarre, but everybody's got a life, And
and I think it's.
I would love to see that the good old Katrina Paige battle.
Yeah, that would obviously everyone loves to see that, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those where,
And shout out to Owen being a captain.
Owen's disgusting. Owen
bad,
is
dude.
If they didn't have courses that were just like extremely long, Owen would be in contention at almost every event.
Yeah.
She kind of just gets bullied a little bit at some of these longer courses. Yeah. But those are the All-Stars. I haven't heard anything as far as what events are going on or how it's all going to play out or when the selection process is. Be on the lookout, I guess. I'm going to try to tune in and kind of get, see a little bit of what's going on, but we'll see what happens with that.
Oh, all and right. They put it on Super Bowl Sunday too, I think.
Yeah, it's bad.
Ooh. I think it was last year, actually. Now I think about it.
I mean, if you do it early enough in the day where people are like, I got nothing else, let's just turn on some disc golf before the game.
Party. Yeah, I mean, it's a big time party trick. If you have live disc golf, you can put that on, man. That's awesome.
I could see that happening. All right, let's talk a little bit distance. The distance contest, we'll probably see it again at the All-Star event. But again, I don't know why this took forever for it to come out, but the video and announcement, all that stuff of the distance contest that was going on at USDGC, that just recently came out. And I took a screenshot because this was something that you would think would be easy to find. It was not easy to find. I could not find it anywhere. So I just took a screenshot during the video of all the different types of distance of everyone's, basically the qualifiers for Open and the qualifiers for MPO or FPO, to give a little bit of an idea. Who do you think threw the fastest in Open?
This is crazy because if I had
sorry. Fastest of people that did not qualify for the finals. Sorry, because obviously David Wiggins threw the fastest.
He did.
Because this is actually really fascinating because speed is just we know speed is just a very small piece of the puzzle for distance. It's not everything.
Who was in the finals?
You have Tomas Heitinen, Thomas Gilbert, Albert Tam, Adam Hammies, Anthony Barella, and David Wiggins. I'll tell you, you don't know this person. Kristan Kuska. I don't know if I'm saying that right. He threw 80 miles per hour. The only people that threw faster than him was Albert Tam at 81, who made the finals. He threw 710 feet at 81. And then David Wiggins threw 684 and then 698 in the finals to win it. This guy threw 80 miles per hour, 498. Didn't even throw over 500 feet.
I would think off the top of my head, if I had to be like, okay, who is the fastest? I mean, it looks like when AB throws it that it's so fast.
No one's faster than David. David with this 360, there's no one close. I think AB might be a couple miles per hour. I think he might be able to get in the 80s. He's not touching 84. And I think David's been clocked higher than that. I think David can get into the 86s. No, I'm telling you right now, I've played with Eagle, I've played with AB, I've played with all these guys. No disc comes out of the hand faster than Wiggins.
I'm trying to think on Simon just was on a podcast or something, and trying to think, was it AB or something? AB was like talking a little trash, being like, said something to Simon, and Simon goes, "Wait, does AB think he can throw farther than me now?" And it like kind of juiced him up a little bit. I kind of like that.
See, like Simon, the thing with Simon is Simon has so much spin as well, which is a huge factor in distance. Spin. The only thing with Simon is like, I hope he doesn't go into an ego battle with AB because, let's keep the elbow healthy. Let's not do anything crazy.
But I think back in the day, that guy was posting some numbers on the speed gun.
Yes, Simon was ripping it.
Was it the record?
I think he might. No, I think this guy out in Europe. I think this guy. It might be this Kristan guy that threw 80. I think I saw some Instagram video. I'm not great with kilometers to hour instead of MPHs, but I believe someone in Europe, as of right now, threw the fastest. I don't know ever, but as of like this year, has thrown the fastest. We'll see if someone can fact check me on that, but I believe that's the case. Just want to throw a quick shout out to my boy Ezra for throwing 567 feet.
At 53 miles per hour.
Good performance. Good performance. And then on the FPO side, you have Henna throwing 68 miles per hour, almost getting close to 70 miles per hour, which is nuts. That's very quick. She ended up not winning. She actually threw 462 in the finals. Ella Hansen ended up winning by throwing 550. If I remember correctly, there was a tail left to right, so the wind was pretty favorable for these distance contests, hence why Albert's throwing 700 feet, David Wiggins throwing close to 700 feet. Those numbers would not be anywhere near that if the wind was not a favorable wind. But when the wind is like that, if your angle is off at all, your throw is just going to be absolute trash. And that's why you see some of these people, throwing in the high 70s, or even, like I said, the guy that threw 80 miles per hour but only threw 498. A lot of that has to do with just angle control. And guess
who was leading going into the finals? Who had the farthest throw?
It was Albert, right? It was 710.
No.
Oh no. Yes. On the MPO side?
No, because they did to go into the day. Adam Hammis won.
Oh, you're right. Adam chucked one. Like high 600s.
Yeah, to get in there, he was the highest qualifier going into there, which is crazy because when you think about Adam, you think about the sidearm and the putt. You don't think about the big distance, but that guy smushes it.
It's one of those where if there was like a height limit, right? If you could only throw, because Adam threw, 74 miles per hour is still fast, but there are tons of guys. Ezra threw 78, Jacob Curtis threw 77, Cole Radalin threw 75. There are a bunch of people that are throwing a little bit faster. Aaron Gossage threw 72. 74 is still fast, but if you got that angle control and you hit it perfectly, the disc will fly. So I thought that was interesting looking at some of these numbers and whatnot. It's always interesting to see how fast some people are throwing and how far the disc is going. It's not is the correlation to like swing speed or, arm speed or disc speed, however you want to say it, to distance is not always 1-to-1. You got to have some other factors that go into it. Did you tune in to the ESPN broadcast? It was on ESPN2, but did you tune in at all?
No.
I didn't either, but I was just seeing if you might have.
No, I did not.
No, I didn't
Fortnite, dude. I was killing little 9-year-olds on there, dude.
I didn't have any interest in watching it. I was there. I knew what happened already. To me, there's not. I don't have a big draw on going back and watching old disc golf stuff. The only time I ever will do that is if I'm about to play the tournament and I kind of want to see the course a little bit. It kind of helps me get a little course.
If I was on the coverage, I'd be watching it.
But I could see that.
Yeah, I wasn't on the coverage. And so
then again, I also I've never watched my season of Amazing Race. So you can, I don't know. I've seen myself plenty of times.
How about if I won?
I could see.
I'm watching that thing.
Well, you would probably have some sort of like party, right? Like you'd have people over to watch. You wouldn't just be sitting there in your bedroom watching it by yourself. You're a sicko. You might be just sitting there and be like, yeah, I'm so good at freaking disc golf. Look at me go.
I don't think, no, I didn't watch it. I heard good things. I heard it was great. Everybody that did watch it,
What was the commentary? Who did the commentary on that? Did they redo it, or did they just rebroadcast the live, or do you have no idea? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's a question that you're gonna have to ask the people in the chat.
Maybe that someone that watched can give us a clue. All Too World posted an article talking about the actual viewership numbers that got posted.
How was that?
The viewership numbers, initial thoughts. Give me your initial thoughts. 123,000 viewers, 0.04 rating.
Pretty good.
Those pretty good is your initial thought. See, to me, when I heard those numbers, I was like, that doesn't sound that great. Okay, they're saying there was a rebroadcast of the final episode of the tour doc. Interesting. Okay.
Is that good?
What's that?
Was that good? Is that good numbers?
So when I first saw it, I was like, that doesn't sound good at all. But I went into the article, read a little bit more, and these kind of jump out at you it makes it seem a little bit better than initially what I thought. So the broadcast was the 94th most watched broadcast on cable television on Sunday. Pretty good. Top 100. Pretty good. This is the big one. It was the 4th most watched ESPN2 broadcast behind men's and women's college basketball. That's pretty good, I think. Mm-hmm. So out of all the stuff that ESPN2 was showing, which, let's be real, there's 24 hours in a day. Some of these shows are, 2 hours or whatever. So there might only be 14 or 12 things. So there's not like we're beating out 50 different shows. But still, top 5, 4th most watched. That's pretty good. I will never understand ratings. A program's rating represents the percentage of television households that were tuned into the broadcast. Oh. So 1.0 rating. 1.0 rating represents 1% of TV households. So 0.04 is like. Yeah, I mean, that's just not very good. But at the same time, like I don't really even know how that even rates. I think what's the most important thing is how did it do compared to the other stuff on ESPN2, because that's huge. Yeah. I think if ESPN2 sees like, oh, people are tuning into this, people are watching this, I think that's big.
Yeah, I agree.
So we'll see what else. I mean, it does look like the Pro Tour is making. Some good connections with ESPN.
I got a message saying that my Zuka commercial was on there.
Ooh, a new one or old one?
Oh no, I don't know what that means, but
hey, you
should have been on there watching, man.
You could have saw yourself in a commercial. That would have been cool. All right, so we got that. Last thing I really want to talk about, unless you have some stuff, the last thing I want to talk about is I don't know why this got posted. It was one of the top stories on Reddit. If you haven't gone and checked off Reddit disc golf, it's kind of
Reddit's a tough spot, man.
It's a weird spot, but you get stories here and there, and I like just checking to see what people are talking about, because I would never have saw this.
Get absolutely roasted on there. So I try to stay away.
I get roasted. What are you talking about? I get roasted more than anyone on there. Have you heard about this guy named Michael Sale?
Yes.
Okay. So he apparently holds the record for most disc golf holes played in 24 hours.
I remember that, yeah.
2,900. Now, I don't know why this got posted. I don't know if it's like the anniversary. Was it? No, this was done in September 12th. So I have no idea. This was done in 2014. No idea why this got posted, but me being new to the sport, never heard of this guy, never heard of this feat. So I thought it was kind of cool. So I wanted to bring up some stats. The first one I want to bring up is how outrageously measured the course was, because they said he did it. He didn't even do it in 24 hours. Like, he stopped before 24 hours. But they said that he crossed like 82 miles. And I was like, that seems like a lot. Like, that's a crazy amount. So I did the math between how long it took him and the distance he covered, and he would have had to been moving at a 14 mile per hour. 14 minutes per mile hour pace. 14 minutes per mile pace. 14 minutes per mile pace for 2,900 holes. I don't know. I'm running a lot, so I have a good sense of what 14. I have a good sense of what 14-minute pace is. That is not a walk. You cannot walk comfortably 14. Like, you would have to be like, oh my gosh, you would have to be like, I mean, you're power
marathon runner.
Yes, or it's a very, very slow jog. I don't know. I think one of the numbers got skewed there because there's no way he was able to keep that pace for like 20 hours straight. There's just no way.
He's a pretty hyper guy. I've played with him before. He's a pretty hyper guy. He's like one of those shrew characters that is just always going.
I mean, he might be an ultra marathoner.
He didn't do that, I promise.
But like, he was taking breaks to like drink and eat and like go to the bathroom. So I think that was, I think those some of the numbers got messed up there. But regardless, I want to give some stats. He almost did actually do 24 hours. He started at 7:43 p.m. and wait, what? Sunset sunrise. Oh wait, that's not. Oh wait, he started at, gosh, I hate this. 12 p.m. That's midnight. Yep. No, that's noon.
Oh, noon 30.
Noon. Okay, so he started at 12 p.m. and he finished at 11:57 p.m. the next day.
So he was 3 minutes short.
So he almost did 24 hours. Okay, so maybe I was completely wrong. I saw some numbers of where it didn't seem like he was running that fast. But anyways, okay. Let's talk about the scoring breakdown.
84 miles in a 24-hour stretch.
Ultra marathons do that, though. Ultra marathon runners. They'll run like 100 miles. I don't know how fast they run them. I don't know. I'm
while playing disc golf, not just running.
While playing disc golf is like throwing me off a little bit. That's what's throwing me off, because it's like you have to throw and you have to putt. But he is playing like a little tiki. The holes are like 60 feet, 80 feet.
Imagine that diagram.
How many aces do you think he had in the 2,900 holes?
9.
114. You got to remember, some of these holes are like 60 feet. So like they're jump putts.
Okay.
And you get like 1,000 tries at it. Okay. How many birdies do you think he had?
2,000. How many did he have altogether?
2,900 holes.
2,132.
Very close. 2,374. His average score per hole was 2.18. He only had 7 bogeys. It's pretty good. So he shot like 2,400 and something under par. Guy shredded.
Man, that's crazy, and I'm never going to be attempting that record.
Hunter and Trevor were talking about it. I don't believe him. I think they were interested because the course is supposedly is not that far away from here. It's only like a 2-hour drive. So I think they were talking about.
Are they in that good of shape to be able to do that? I mean, you can be in great shape and still not be able to do that.
Trevor injured himself, but prior to that, he was running a lot. Hunter is running a lot. Hunter's in better running shape than I am.
Wow.
Yeah, Hunter's in really good running shape. I think it would be more of a punishment, though. I think that's what they were kind of talking about. Is like you have to go, or you just have to go and play 1,000 holes at this course, and you can't leave until you play 1,000 holes. So I don't know. Did you have anything? Did I have anything? Did you have anything to talk about? Because I think while you stew on that and think if you do have anything, just so we can be transparent with everyone, initially the show we had, Twitter Spaces, and we were able to take calls and have people, you guys watching live right now, you guys were able to call into the show. I think that is a very unique thing that we were doing. It is impossible to do that right now with how we are set up. However, when me and Yuli are on the same place, which is going to be a lot during tour, I believe we will be able to still do like the Twitter Spaces. I think the way we'll probably have it set up, just so that we don't necessarily have kind of this constant, I don't want to say interruption, but I think the way we might have it set up is maybe towards the end of the episode, we might do a little like 10, 15-minute segment where we take people calling in, especially if people have pet peeves. Because to me, that's like my favorite thing to hear is people talking about their pet peeves in disc golf. And it would be awesome to have more people call in and talk about that. But as of right now, we don't really have anything like that set up. So we're not doing that. So if you were trying to call in, we might be able to read some of the chat. I don't know how much you guys let me know how much you like that. I don't know if that is something that people really want to listen to, reading off like some questions in chat. I also don't know if that's something that, if you're listening to us right now on your way to work or something, if you're like, oh, yeah, I really care to hear you guys talk about the people watching live, what they have to say right now. I don't know. But with that being said, that is something that we will try to do in future episodes when we're capable of doing it.
Which I enjoy that. I enjoy when people call in and give us new topics and see what see what the people want to talk about. I don't have anything. The only thing that came to mind was AB getting the W over at the Maricopa Open after what I considered.
Who was there?
Almost the same people that were at the Shelley Sharp. So pretty good field.
Okay.
Marweed got second place. So he
is that back-to-back seconds for him?
No,
or did he win? He won.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was it. I felt like he had, like I said, a pretty poor performance at the Shelley, and that might have been due to the new discs or whatever, something different. But then coming in and winning a nice tournament, the what is it? Not the weekend after, but 2 weeks away. So that was pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Marweed coming out strong. Marweed's good.
He's another guy that like certain courses just he doesn't have necessarily the length. If he was able to generate, and who knows, maybe this offseason he got in the weight room or was, doing some resistance strength training. Who knows? But I think playing with him, that seems to be his Achilles heel on some of the longer courses. He just doesn't have the power to be able to compete on some of those longer courses. But the courses that are like sub 10,000 feet, the dude is good, man. I mean, he's got all the shots. His backhand has gotten a lot better. And then, if he's able to get inside of 60 feet, it's almost cash every time. So he's always a fun guy to play with. I like his playing style a lot.
Doesn't say a word to you.
No. I thought, crazy story, I don't think I said it, or maybe I did say it to him. It got super awkward. I could have sworn this guy, Andrew Marweed, played Ultimate Frisbee against me at Arizona State. He looked exactly like one of the Arizona State guys. And this is like when I first got into disc golf. So it's like my first year on tour. I think this was at Idlewild. It was like on hole 2, I'm playing with him. And I almost I don't think I did end up going up to say it, but for the longest time I was like, dude, this guy got really freaking good at disc golf. Like me and him used to battle. Like we battled a couple times in Ultimate. This guy's freaking sick at disc golf. Turns out not the same guy at all. Not at all. No. But he looked.
He played some basketball. I heard he coached a little bit, and he played.
Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, this brings up something interesting. I hear this all the time.
Yeah.
Change battery. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is that just did your battery just die? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But I can hear you. We'll keep going. Go ahead.
I can hear you. Okay, I want to talk about this because this is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine, and
Pet peeve.
I'll tell this story quick so people can realize like I just don't like it when people say they're good at something or say that someone else is good at something and they're not. Now, this has happened multiple times to me. The most famous time that I've probably told tens of dozens of times now is me and Kelsey, when we started initially dating, we were, you start, you're not brainstorming, but you start talking about like what things you like and try to see what you have in common. And so I brought up tennis and I said, do you like playing tennis? And she said, yes. And I said, are you good? And she said, yes. Are you good? And I said, yes. And I was like, we should go play tennis sometime. She's like, heck yeah. We go, I drop the ball on the baseline and hit it over. She like takes this huge swing at it and just like completely hits the ball, not even near the court. And I just freeze and I look at her and I go, wait, are you not good at tennis? And she goes, wait, are you actually good at tennis? And I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, I thought you were just joking. I was like, no. Both my parents growing up were teaching pros. I grew up on the tennis court. And I told her, I was like, the worst thing ever is trying to play tennis with someone that's not good at tennis. It is literally not fun at all. And yeah, so I just get very, I don't know if the word's annoyed, but I'm very skeptical. And I've been very skeptical about disc golfers because I've seen it time and time again where someone will say like, oh yeah, this person's really good at this sport or this person's really good at this. And then I see them either shoot a basketball, throw a football, run, whatever. And I'm like, I think we have different definitions of good. I think, and this is real. I think there is a disc golf good. I think there is this guy is good at tennis for disc golf. This guy is good at basketball for disc golf. I think there's a serious difference between that and like actually being good at that sport.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same way, but I've heard too many pros talk about other people about, oh my God, this guy's so good at this. And then I watch and I'm like,
so what's your so then tell us, what is your definition of good? Brodie's definition of good. If I said, hey, I heard that Andrew Marweed's a good basketball player, where do you put him? D1? He has to be a D1 player.
No. He doesn't have to be a D1 player, but like I would say at least like I could, if I watched him play, I would be like, yeah, he probably played varsity in high school.
Yeah.
Like if the dude has a janky shot, if the guy can't dribble with his left hand, if he has no court awareness, if he doesn't know what a screen and roll, a pick and roll is, if he doesn't know, like, I'm not gonna say that guy's good at basketball.
Yeah,
I'm just not. So, I don't know.
I've never played with him, but what I've heard is from.
And there's no shot at Andrew Marweed. He very well could be good at basketball.
Can he run good, or is that what you're saying? He can't run good now too.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
yeah, you said that. You said Marweed can't run at all.
I did not say Marweed can't run. I was specifically talking about there is a huge difference between.
Are you good at basketball?
I was, yes. Would I say I'm good at basketball now? No. I would say I'm good at shooting a basketball, but I would not trust my knees in a basketball game at all. I'm not jumping and dunking on people anymore. But yeah, like in college, I would dunk on people.
That doesn't make you good just because you're tall, dude.
That's true. But no, I mean it's a little bit of a pet peeve for me because I think it does take away. Again, this is complete meaningless talk, but it does take away a little bit from the people that are actually good at that sport.
Yeah, I hear that. But there's a big wide variety of what is good and what is not good. Yes. Like It's a
to me,
big white, if I went to regular person.
Yes.
Yeah, if I went to a regular person.
Yes.
And he was like you said, I could watch.
Is your camera coming back, Uli, or is it gone forever?
Well, I thought we were almost done, so I didn't even try.
That is true. We are almost done. Okay, let's finish this up. Let's wrap this up. Go. Finish it up.
What I was saying is, if a regular guy came up to me and was like, and like you said, I watched him run just a little bit, and then was like, hey, are you any good at this stuff? I could tell that guy, like, yeah, I'm pretty good. Compared to you, like, I'm going to be pretty good at everything. And then that guy.
Yeah, but you made a comparison, though. See, that's the difference. You said, compared to you, I'm going to be good.
Yes. Compared to that guy, he's probably then looks at me and he's probably like, dang, that guy's pretty good. Like, he's pretty good. Like, Kelsey probably looked at you and was like, well, you're pretty good. But if somebody else hit the same ball back to her, she would probably be like, wait, you're good? You get what I mean? You're what I call, this is what I call them. I call them unicorn athletes. Like, you're good at a lot of things. You're good. It's not necessarily, you're not a professional at everything. But if I were to take Brodie and take you and play whatever sport, I could guarantee, even if you'd never played it, that you'd pick it up pretty fast and you'd be better than most people right away.
But I wouldn't be telling someone. It's just like when you ask me, like, are you good at basketball? Like, right now, no, I'm not. Like, at this state, I'm not. And I feel like if someone watched me shoot a couple times in basketball, in disc golf, they'd be like, yeah, Brodie's really good at basketball. And it's like, no, I'm good at shooting.
Yeah.
But I'm not good. I don't know. I just think perspective matters a little bit. And, like bowling. I could go bowling right now, and it would be interesting to see whether or not you would think I'm a good bowler. Because in my opinion, I'm not good at bowling.
I hear you. Hey,
but I could bowl a 200.
No, I hear you.
I could see how somebody could look at that and say, like, oh no, you're good at bowling. But to me, there's a massive difference. I don't know. I guess when someone says good, I'm not thinking like relative to just like the general public.
There you go. See, that's what I feel like good is. Not great, because there's a lot
Because I'm not enjoying playing tennis with someone that's better than the general public at tennis. Like, that's still unenjoyable for me. Same with like ping pong. If someone's like, oh yeah, you need to play this guy in ping pong, he's pretty good. Like, if that just means he's better than you, it could still not be fun to play someone in ping pong, people do want to know. I will say there is a lot of talk about you and Simon's skill in pool.
What about it?
Billiards.
I'm afraid to say if I'm like.
People are wondering if you're good or not.
I'm afraid to say it. I'm afraid to say what I feel.
No, say honestly. Do you think you're good at pool?
Not right now, no. I get the same perspective as you. No, not right now. Now, if I practice and I do my drills and I get on the pool table, I'm very good pool player. Very good. Like top. I'm really good.
See, because if you're about to say like top 10 disc golfer, that's where I was going to throw right back at you. That doesn't mean you're good.
I'm this good. I could go to local tournament in Charlotte. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm playing and I'm doing my drills. I wouldn't be surprised if I won a tournament. Yes. Like a local thing.
Yes.
Like I would if I were to play against disc golfers, yeah. Like Simon's the only person I've ever played with who in disc golf who could beat me if I practice. Simon's that dude plays all day, every day. I've been to his house. That's what he does. He just goes over, he shoots the pool. Now he has a kid, so hopefully he's not shooting as much, but he's good. He's a good pool player. Now, us compared to, like, recently I went to a place and I played one of the top guys in South Carolina.
That's sick.
And this dude, I played him 40 games, different games, because he was so good I wanted to play with him. It was the first guy that I had played with in a long time who I could play with.
Mm-hmm.
he beat me every which way, any game that we played. It got down to this. I played him to where he broke. We have an 8-ball rack, okay? And he's like, this is what we're going to do. You just make the 8-ball.
Wait, explain 8-ball rack. Does that mean you're playing with all the balls, all the stripes,
all
and
the
all
balls,
the
yep,
solids?
Everything. Yeah, all the.
Okay.
So basically, he's like, we'll play this game. You're the 8-ball. You make it in any pocket, you win.
Okay.
And I'll be all the other balls. Now, me being a good pool player, which I know I am, he beat me that way. And then I'm like, okay, I'm on to you. No, I don't want to play that. I'm going to be all the balls because then, then I can kind of nifty my way through there, not leave him any shots. No, he beat me that way. So there's
just no way
of good like me and then good like that.
Well, see, I think there's also a decent. Like, to me, I think there are a lot of people that are decent at stuff. I think there's a huge difference between decent and good. If you're decent at something, that means you can play it. Like, you're not going to be able to not play it, but you're not good. You're decent.
This is how good I am. If I do drills and I'm, let's say this would probably take me like 2 months. If I did drills for 2 months and I got tournament ready,
okay,
I could play, let's say, because the way tournaments usually work is it's a race to 5 or a race to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll play 8-ball. If I did that, I could run 2 to 3 racks in a row probably.
Okay.
That's how good I am, right? And that still isn't good enough to probably win because some of those guys can just not miss, play safeties. Like, once you get to a certain level with pool, it's like it's not even the same game because you're playing safeties and you're doing all this other stuff. Like, it's not it's not glamorous like people think. You just break it and run it. No. Like, you can, if you get a good break, then it's easy to run the rack. But a lot of times we're playing safeties on each other so we can get ball in hand and then move our way around the thing.
Does pool get worse the better you get at it? Like, is there a level where you get so good at pool? Like, the way you're talking right now does not sound fun.
Oh, sometimes it isn't fun. No.
Like, is that one of the few sports where like as you get better, the more the least fun it is? Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. Like, when I was 14, I was one of the better players as a 14-year-old, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I practice, and it got to the point where I never wanted to play pool again because it's that boring. Like, yes, it is like one of the most grueling. If you have a 9-foot table, that's your space for 5 hours of practice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so like tedious. The drills are so tedious. You know what I mean? You're like placing them in certain spots, making them, drawing it to here, topping it to there. And then you're just doing this over and over. If you want to get good, just like anything, it's a very tedious sport or game.
Here's a good question. Going back to disc golf. Putting, because I talked about this a little bit too on Instagram. I think I posted something on Instagram about this because it just kind of came to me. Like, putting in disc golf is very similar to shooting a basketball, right? The motion and everything like that and your goal feels very similar. And to get better at putting, you got to do it more. And to get better at shooting a basketball, you got to do it more. However, why do you think, because I could shoot around a basketball for 30 or 45 minutes and have an absolute blast.
Yeah.
Putting, though, is it simply the fact that when you shoot a basketball and you make it, the ball can like come back to you somewhat, or like you can kind of walk up and just grab it? Like, why do you think shooting a basketball, like doing a shoot around, is more enjoyable than putting practice in disc golf? Because it feels like those two should be more similar than they are.
That's a good point. I never thought about that, but I love shooting basketball.
I do too.
I love that. Yeah, I
love
shoot
it
forever.
Same thing with like throwing a football. I could sit in my backyard with a buddy and throw a football for 30 or 40 minutes.
And I don't think I could do that.
Okay. Baseball, a lot of people love. I mean, I guess it'd be similar to like throwing a frisbee. People like throwing a frisbee back and forth to each other. That is actually more enjoyable.
No. If I have somebody to shoot with, or if I have somebody to play catch with, yeah, you can play catch for hours. That's fun.
Yeah.
But
oh yeah, I'm not throwing a football like at trees in my backyard and then going and pick it up. No.
I'm talking about by yourself. If I have somebody in the gym, I'll play for hours. If I have a football to throw, yeah, that's a little different. But I'm saying the tedious time by yourself of practice where there's nobody there. Basketball is one of the funnest things. Might be. I don't know what it is.
This person brings up a good point. They're saying putting practice, I'm assuming in disc golf, is like practicing free throws only in basketball. I could see that because like after 10 minutes of shooting free throws in basketball, it's like, bro, let me just shoot a jumper from the elbow. Like I need to let me shoot something else. I could see how that can kind of get tedious if you're just grinding 30 minutes on free throws. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking in my head, like, what if you like created something of where if you make a putt, it like goes through the basket and then like goes into like a little rolly ramp and like rolls all the way back to you. So you can just
I don't know. When I was a kid,
you just stand there.
Go ask like LeBron James if his favorite thing in the world is just to go and start shooting around in his on a basketball hoop. Guarantee that's not his funnest thing to do. You know what I mean? And for me, like going out and putting, it's not my funnest thing to do. But when I first started, dude, I loved it. I could putt for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and I loved it.
So there are, yeah, because I guess there are just some things in life that the more you do it, the joy kind of gets sucked out of it a little bit. Because there definitely are certain things where, I mean, sitting down with a big, huge thing of buttered popcorn and watching a movie, like I'm never getting tired of that.
Unless you did it for 360 days a year.
I don't know, man. I love movies. Now, if I was having to watch the same movie or like a handful of movies over and over, but then like Kelsey watches Twilight probably once a week at this point.
I can't watch something over and over again.
It's at least just on. One of the Twilight Saga movies is just on once a week. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, it was a good movie, but I mean, geez. Yeah. I don't know. I'm like, if I have like a 12-hour flight or something, I kind of look forward to it a little bit because I'm like, bro, I'm going to sit down and watch so many movies. This is going to be awesome. Like, I love that.
Cool. That's cool. Well, what about this? Because I got like the personality to where when I find a new sport, and it doesn't happen anymore because I'm a billion, but when I was a kid, I would play something until I felt like I was good. And I was like addicted to that thing. You know, that's the type of person I am. If like I got sick of pool because I got so addicted to it that's all I did. I woke up, I breathed pool. That's what I did. When I started golfing, that's what I did. I woke up, I breathed golf. I was there every single day. I hit buckets of balls. I putted for hours. It was just my thing. Disc golf, same thing. When I was playing a lot of basketball, same thing. I would play it all day. It's what I look forward to. It was the funnest thing that I ever did. Any sport that I did was like, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to get as good as I can at this thing. But then it lost its like luster after a certain amount of time. It's not because I stopped getting good. It just got boring to me, you know? That's I think affected me in a different way is because I never got sick of practice. I still love going out and playing courses and doing the thing. I love going out, and I'm not as like 3-hour putting sessions, you know. Now I can't walk by a basket in my yard without going to my truck, without going, oh, I'm grabbing 3 of these bad boys and see what we got here.
Yeah, no, I kind of struggled with the same thing as a kid. I don't know really what that equates to. There's definitely times where, you know, I wonder how my life would be different if my mom was like, no, you're not going to just switch to another sport. Like, you're going to stay with golf, or you're going to stay with tennis, and you're going to grind it out, if you will, and not switch to basketball and try football and all that stuff. It'd be interesting to see how different that would be, if I would be happier, or if, you know, maybe I would be in a sport down the road that I get burned out in. But I was the same way, and I'm very much the same way now in some of those aspects too, of where I will get very committed, I guess would be the word, like very locked in on something, and I kind of want, oh, he's back. I kind of want to like perfect it. And then once I get it, and honestly too, like, it is a little bit of a personal, you know, thing, but I think it relates to a lot of people as well. I think that a lot of people struggle with this in relationships too, of where it's very exciting and interesting trying to get the attention of a girl. And then as soon as you get the attention of the girl, you're like, all right, mission accomplished, on to the next. And obviously that leaves you with just a lot of broken and not great relationships. So that's definitely something that I don't know if everyone struggles with that, or if that is something that people like me and yourself, that you were just kind of describing how we bounced around from sport to sport or different thing as kids. Like, I don't know what that really relates to, but that is definitely something where I will get fixated on something, and then I will just like do everything I can to get really freaking good at that. But later in my life, I have stuck to things way longer, right? So like, I stuck with ultimate frisbee for as long until my knees gave out. And I still think the same thing with disc golf, of where it's like, I don't have an interest, even if I do reach the top and I win a world championship or I win a couple majors, I don't see myself then being like, all right, what's next? I really thoroughly enjoy playing disc golf like I did with ultimate. So I don't see myself ever changing that. But like, it'll be interesting to see, like right now with my fitness, like I'm really, really involved with what I'm eating, lifting, running. It'll be interesting to see, like, is this something that I can maintain? I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll see, like in a couple, you know, a year, 2, 3, is this something that, you know, am I trying to run a marathon? Am I trying to go out and do races and stuff? Or is it something where all of a sudden just one day I'm just like, I don't feel like running today. And then the next day it's like, I don't feel like running. And then all of a sudden, you know, you haven't ran in a month, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, when I hurt my leg and then I came back, running was the coolest thing ever. It was my favorite thing. Because you've had 2 knee surgeries as well, right?
3.
So with my ACL tear, as soon as they told me like you can walk, I was walking. But as soon as they told me I could run or start jogging, I never thought in my life that I would love running, and I don't love it anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Did you ever have like problems actually like doing a task, not because you physically couldn't do it, but because like I've never, in sports especially, like I'm never like thinking what I need to do. It's just instinctual. I just do it. You know, frisbee goes up, I'm diving, hand out, catch. I'm not thinking ever. It wasn't until after my third knee surgery, going through rehab and getting in front of this 24-inch box, and I'm literally just standing in front of this box,
You
and
have to jump on there.
I've done all the rehab to where my knee, everything like that is physical. I'm capable of jumping up onto this box.
Yeah.
And my trainer's standing there right there, being like, all right, let's do this. Let's, give me a couple of these. And I'm standing there like this. And again, like jumping was one of those things that I was pretty good at. I had a pretty high vertical when I was playing Ultimate.
Yeah.
I was pretty decent at jumping. Something I never like practiced really, just something I was naturally gifted in, I guess. And I'm standing in front of this box that's literally not even above my knees. And I'm frozen. I'm literally just like, it was the first time ever of where my mind, I was trying to tell myself like to actually jump, like go, jump. And like my body just wasn't. And so I'm just standing in front of this box straight up frozen. I couldn't leave the ground. And it was just absolutely one of the most demoralizing things ever. And now, I mean, it's kind of like how you were talking about how like you had that love of running. Like now I'm doing box jumps up onto like, not anything crazy, but like 36 inches and stuff like that. And it's just the most exhilarating feeling ever of being able to like just stand in front of something and just jump on top of it. A simple task like that. But in the moment, it just seemed like, trying to move an iceberg out of the way. It was impossible.
No, I don't think I had that. But fear for sure of like, I don't think I can do, I'm not going to try that.
Oh, it's not even tempting.
Yeah, I'm not even going to, no, I don't think I want to try that type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I blew my ACL. So I injured my meniscus in the 2012 season, like mid-season, had surgery on it, did a full recovery all off season, worked really freaking hard to get back into shape, was feeling really freaking good. First game, second play, or second time I was on the field. First time I was on the field, I kind of went deep and kind of just came down on it funky, right? Like went up, caught the disc, came down on it like a little straight legged and kind of funky. And I was like, oh, that was kind of weird. Should have at that moment been like, all right, I'm just going to sit this out, guys. Like something kind of feels weird. I just kind of want to get tested. But, I'm young and stupid and I want to play. So I go out the very next point or 2 points after that on offense. I make one cut, boom, pop, gone, ACL, other leg. And I was just like, bro, like I did everything to get my left leg strong. And unfortunately that happens a lot. And with knee injuries is like, you put so much wear and tear on the other knee that it's more likely that you're going to mess it up.
That's what sucks, man, is because, dude, I can't do nothing without hurting myself. Like, that's what I'm finding. Like, if I do basketball, forget about it. That's a death trap for me.
Mm-mm.
Like, pickup basketball is my favorite. I think it might be my favorite thing to do to get into shape. Pickup basketball is awesome. Full court pickup basketball. You run so much. You're guarding. You're down low. You're up high. Like, that is so fun. I can't even think about doing it. Like, if I go out there, I'm like, oh, I'm for sure going to get hurt.
It's it's literally something I wouldn't really wish on my like worst enemy, of where you have someone that has such a competitive mindset, but you put this thought and fear. Cause like I'm now like at the point of where my knees are so bad. I'm essentially what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to strengthen everything around them to protect them.
Yeah.
But I'm at a point right now of where if something were to happen, now we're talking about potential like reconstruction of the knee down the road. Like we're talking about some serious issues of where, when my kid's 5 or 6 and wants to go throw in the backyard, that might be a real big struggle for me. So that fear of like hurting yourself again is like one of the worst things possible that I literally wouldn't wish on anyone
But
because
here's the thing, Brodie.
it
Every time
sucks.
I play something, I get hurt. Every time. It's like a curse. Every time. I played volleyball a couple years ago. We were in Santa Cruz for the tournament, right? And everybody goes out to the beach. We're playing volleyball, dive for a ball, break my rib, like crack 2 ribs, just volleyball. I'm like, okay, can't play volleyball anymore. Nice. Go out, shred my ankle, hurt my arm doing something else. Like, it's just like this thing where it's like, I'm pretty much,
It sucks.
I'm what was his name? Pete Rose? Not Pete Rose.
No,
Derrick
you're
Rose.
bubble boy. You need to be bubble boy. You need to be
Derrick
put in a
Rose,
bubble.
dude, I'm made of glass, bro.
You need to walk around one of those huge bubbles so you don't get injured.
Or just, but that's what you're saying. Like, I can't play a sport without going hard. I can't play a sport without going hard.
All these people are playing pickleball and stuff. Like, I'm not doing that.
I love pickleball.
I just can't risk it, man. I can't risk it. Like,
it's a tiny court. Do you really think it's like that?
Yes, because
listen to this.
Because if I'm moving one direction, like I can't just like that. That's the other issue is I just can't play stuff and be okay with being bad at it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like,
I hear you.
It's just not worth at this point. It's just not worth it. It's not worth going out there.
We all went out when we were in Jacksonville. I never played before.
Yeah.
And Wes, our underground captain, goes out there, plays, and I think like his second game, he tore his Achilles. Like he tore his Achilles, dude. Dunzo. Surgery. Cap it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So you're right. It is like when I go out though, I go double brace. I'm like that old guy, double brace, double.
You gotta do what you gotta do if you're gonna risk it for the biscuit. Can you watch injuries? Can you see them like if they're happening on TV? Can you watch the replay of them?
No.
Yeah, I can't either.
No.
I can watch myself. So like I have two out of the 3 knee surgeries that happened were all during games. So like both of them were filmed. I can watch those. No problem. If it's someone else, can't do it. I can't watch anyone else get injured. And Kelsey, like, gosh, she'll have like some TikToks sometimes that come up of just like people getting wrecked. Like kind of those like fail videos.
Yeah.
She'll be like, oh my God, watch this. And I'm like, I can't. I'm like, you cannot show me that. Like, I do not want to see this guy's bone coming out of his leg. I can't do it.
Golf
Kelsey's not squeamish at all like that, but I am. I can't do it.
Golf is a sport where you can get a little competitiveness out though and no injury really.
Well, nothing bad. You can just throw your back out, like which I hadn't played golf in forever, and Kelsey had this brand deal with this golf company that she had to do. So I went out with her, and again, like I'm an idiot. Like I haven't swung a golf club in so long, and I'm out here like swing speed up where it used to be, and I'm just like bombing the ball. And at the time, everything feels fine. And then, like, you get home and everything starts, the adrenaline kind of falls away. Your body starts cooling down. And then you get up and you're just like, oh, like my whole back is just lights up like a Christmas tree. And you're like, what? You're an idiot. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that?
But I can't, but at what point do you have to be like, I'm not going to live my life scared.
We got to have a kid. We have to have a kid. That's the answer. You have to have a kid, and we have to live vicariously through them. That's where we're at right. That's the point. We're old men. We're having a kid. We're old men right now. Our prime is in the past, and now we just have to live vicariously. Like I'm going to be a very supportive father in whatever my kid does, but I will be lying to you if none of my kids come out to be like competitive and like want to get good at something. I will be not broken, but I will be sad, I guess, will be the.
That's why I want girls, man. I want girls.
Wait, why is that why you went to a girl? What does that mean?
Because this is why. I feel like if I have boys, I will be hard, but a girl, this is what I really feel like. I wouldn't have to pressure that no matter what they want. If they love sports, great. If they don't, great. But my competitiveness, like with my dad and my relationship and my brother, we were so competitive.
Okay.
That like I'm afraid that maybe that will wash down into there, and I don't know.
I mean, you're not going to obviously you're extremely involved in disc golf, and I'm sure that's not going to change anytime soon. You're not going to have any sort of like hope or desire of like kind of like, oh, I wish maybe one of my girls likes to play disc golf.
Yeah, I would, of course.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying. Like I would be bummed if one of my kids, let's say I have 3 kids, I would be a little bummed if my first kid was like, I want to be a writer, and they're just like in their room writing all the time. And then my other kid's like, I want to be an artist, and they're just like finger painting and doing Picassos. And then the other kid's like, I want to play the trumpet. And like that's my kid. Those are my kids. Like I would just be bummed because I'd be like, does anyone want to watch the football game with Dad today? Like, no, Dad, I just learned a new song. Listen to it. I'd be bummed. I'd be a little bummed is all I'm saying. I still would love all of them. I would still love all of them. But I would just be a little bummed if not a single one of my kids had any interest in sports.
Here's the thing, Brodie. This is straight from the heart, buddy.
Yeah.
My kids are going to wreck your kids at everything.
Ooh.
They're going to absolutely just wreck.
See, this is interesting because I do believe in like generational talent. And I feel like I was gifted with a lot of really good talent, but I just didn't have the genetics I was just missing a couple pieces to be really freaking good at something. Yeah. Right? I was decent at, again, going back to decent. I was decent at a lot of things, but I wasn't ever great at anything because I feel like I was just missing some pieces, right?
Yeah.
My kid might not be missing those pieces. It skips generations. Like you rarely ever see a dad being incredibly gifted and the kid being incredibly gifted. It's a rare thing to see, father son. There are some rare exceptions, but for the most part,
especially if you have a lot of kids.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a good chance. Like you just have 15 kids and hope one of them turns out to be a freaking superstar. I guess you could do it that way. Just play the lottery a little bit. But for the most part,
I've always said this. Listen to this. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
Brodie?
Yeah.
You put your mind in Paul Ulibarri's body. What kind of athlete would you be?
What sport are you playing?
It doesn't matter. Like this vessel that I have to do these things that I'm doing, I'm making the best out of it, bro. I'm telling you.
I mean, what was your 40 time and your vert?
Oh,
what were your measurables?
Dude, I'm slow. I'm the slowest no vert. Oh, I'm awful.
Then why are you taking my mind and putting it into your body? What the heck are we doing?
Because this is what I'm saying. Okay. You wouldn't be able to do the things friend.
Oh, boy.
We're going straight to the top. No injuries even.
Straight to the top.
I'm listening to my body, dude. I tweak it a little bit. No.
Trainers. I will say you are better. We had a chiropractor, and my first let me actually you can still see my you can see my thing, right? You can see my stream. Or you can see my video?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to show you this video real quick. Everyone can watch at home. Let me just tell you, this is what happened. Okay. After this play, I limped off the field. Okay. After what you see, I limped off the field. The chiropractor took me over to the training table, sat me down, told me to bend my knee like kind of like where you're about to do a sit-up.
Yeah.
And then he proceeded to grab my knee around like the lower part of my knee, like around my calf, and then jammed it into my chest like 3 times.
What?
And it was like, you're good to go. And then I played the rest of the game. And then obviously the next morning I woke up. Oh, I think I played the game the next day. It was a doubleheader. So I played the next game, and then I woke up the following day after that game, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't even like straighten my leg. This is the video that the chiropractor at the time just jammed my knee into my chest and then just told me I was good to play the rest.
Oh.
I think here you go. Here's the slow-mo.
Okay. Oh, no, don't show me that. That's terrible. You got to make that catch, dude. Just kidding.
I probably was actually pissed more about me not catching it.
Wow. You springboarded off of that thing.
Yeah.
Like a pogo stick.
Yeah. So like looking back on that now and knowing the stuff that I know, like I don't know what was the chiropractor doing. Also, I want to say like a week after surgery, I went into a physical therapy place, just like a place that was just because I was living in Indianapolis at the time. And I just went to a physical therapy down the street, and they were like having me like do the Stairmaster like a week after knee surgery, which now knowing again all the stuff I know is it's like not medicine is a crazy thing, man. It is like I don't know who to believe. I don't know who to believe. And normally this is how I've kind of done it over the years is once I started working out with like these professional athletes at the gym I was working out with, I was like, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars. They probably have people that are very smart because they realize like if they can't get these people to go out and perform, they're going to get fired. So I was like, I'm just going to start going to these doctors because at the end of the day, these guys are taking care of $1 million athletes. I feel like that's probably better than just maybe going to a doctor that's like dealing with people that, you know, have normal 9-to-5 jobs and did something to their knee and they're like, yeah, let me cut you open and
let me jam that into your
your chest. And yeah, so I don't know. All right. That's enough memory lane for me. All right. Well, that is Tour Life episode 1 of who knows how many.
Scracklies, dude.
We're gonna all I can say is it's gonna go up from here, right? Like the crackle hopefully will be gone next week. Yuli will hopefully have his camera on the entire time, so I'm not just talking to a blank square. It's only gonna go up from here. That's all.
This was a 2-hour guy.
No, this was a good podcast. I think people enjoyed it. Let us know if you guys enjoyed it. Again, make sure you subscribe to the Foundation Podcast. That's what this is on. Or go over onto Spotify and Apple. It's called Tour Life. Go check it out over there. Subscribe over there. You can leave a rating. All those things help. But I'm very excited about this podcast because, like I said, like I think your opinions, me coming into disc golf too, like you were one of the first people I talked to a lot about stuff. So I value your opinions on a lot of issues, very importantly. Obviously, we didn't get really deep into anything like disc golf wise, but throughout the season, stuff is going to come up. Yeah. We're gonna see stuff happen. And, I think it'll be really interesting, your point of view from being more of a veteran and someone that's been on tour for so long, my kind of naive point of view on a lot of things. And then also I think you being a part of, Jomez and having a little bit more of an insider information of what's going on post-production, all that stuff. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be awesome. I think at one point we'll probably get Big Germ on here, and that will probably be a 4-hour podcast. So be ready for that one. He might have to be our first guest, because if we're gonna have a guest come on, we got to make sure we do it the right way. I feel like a Big Germ guest. Did you know that I posted his YouTube video?
You were the one that posted it back in the day.
I've literally posted everyone on Joe Mez's YouTube video commentary except for you. I've never posted. I posted Nate Sexton's ace, and then I posted Big Germ when he did that crazy around the world.
Yeah.
I've never posted anything of you. What does that tell you about yourself?
Shoot. I need to go viral somehow.
You gotta go viral.
Gotta go viral, dude. I ain't done anything.
Maybe you do like the perfect pool game where you like you do that break, the 9-ball break, and all the balls go into the pockets.
Dude, you know what the coolest shot I ever did do?
In pool?
No, in general.
Oh, in disc golf.
Coolest shot I ever did.
Have I seen it?
Probably not.
Okay. Well, tell me about it.
Well, it was when I went through football field, goal to goal into the bucket.
Double.
Into the basketball hoop.
You gotta send me that video. I gotta share it. Send me the video.
And here's what's crazy is I dreamt about doing this. So then the next week I went and bought a basketball hoop, wheeled it out to this freaking park, and my 6th throw made it.
Dang. I know that's difficult too, because the first trick shot video I did with Avery in like 2012 or something, I don't even know how, 2014, it was a really long time ago. He was just trying to throw it through both uprights. Like, it wasn't trying to go into a basket or a hoop or anything like that. He was trying to literally just throw it through to both uprights. And I saw how difficult that was. So
no basket. A basket would have been easier, I feel like, too. It was a basketball hoop. I'll send it to you. But anyways.
Okay, yeah, send it to me. I'm not gonna probably post it on my YouTube.
Hey, I don't want you to post it at all. Yeah. I want something organically that I'm gonna do maybe in the future. You know?
Wait, you don't want me to share this clip on Twitter?
No, what I'm saying is I'm going to be doing something. I do a lot of cool things, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, okay, all right. I'm sitting back waiting to see him.
Hopefully what I'm saying is all of a sudden you're going to wake up and be like, dang, Yules, pretty cool. And then just an organic share.
I got you. Where this one kind of feels like you're
I had
to
tell you I had to dig deep into the archives.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, this one kind of feels like I'm doing you a favor.
Yeah,
like
no, that's what I'm saying. Hey, man, I'm not asking. I'm saying don't do it.
Can you help me go viral?
Please don't share this so I go viral again. I'm just kidding. Hey, good podcast, man. I look forward to it.
Podcast. A lot of fun. Can't wait for next week. I believe I'll let you know time and date, but I believe everyone listening, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Next week, right here on YouTube, and then it'll be up on all your podcasts after that.
No crackles.
No crackles.
Cameras on.
Cameras on. Lights on. Action. We'll be giving you all the takes all the time, coming straight from our membranes. That's all we got, Uli. Other than that, we got to figure out an outro too. We have no outro. So it's just going to be like, it's just going to be awkward for a little bit, but you guys bear with me. And this was the birth of Crackle Uli. So let's never forget it.
No, we're not.
Great show.
Later, bro.
All right. And we ended.